What is your name, please?
My name is Steve Lang.
My name is Steve Lang.
My name is Steve Lang.
Only one of these young men is the real Steve Lang. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Martin Gabel, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth. And here sitting in for vacationing Bud Collyer is the host of Play Your Hunch, Robert Q. Lewis.
Thank you very much, Johnny Olson. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Tell the Truth. You won't believe this first spot. We have not yet heard from Bud Collyer, so we are convinced he is enjoying his well-earned vacation. However, Bud will be back next week. Meanwhile, tonight, To Tell the Truth is brought to you by Salem Cigarettes. And Martin Gabel, it's wonderful to have you on the panel this evening.
Thank you very much, Robert Q. I'm delighted to be here.
Good. I understand you're going to rehearsal next week.
Yes, I'm going to rehearsal with a new play by Irwin Shaw called Children from Their Games.
Very good. We're all looking forward to that. Now then, panel, would you please open your envelopes, take out your affidavit cards for the first time, and follow along as I read. I, Steve Lang, am a first-classman at the United States Military Academy at West Point. Currently, I'm engaged in a rather unmilitary activity. This coming weekend, I shall perform in the annual show, which is traditionally given by the senior class on the 100th night before graduation. The 100th night show is produced, written, directed, and acted by cadets. We've been rehearsing 3 hours a day for the past 6 weeks. I play one of two beautiful sisters. My name is Becky. Signed, Steve Lang. Well, panel, these three young men over here all claim to be Cadet Becky. And let's start the questioning with Peggy Cass.
Becky number 2, do you sing and dance?
I dance in the play, ma'am.
I see. Becky number 3, is that the rig you're going to wear on the stage?
Yes, it is.
I see. Number 1, did you shop for that outfit yourself?
No, ma'am.
I see. Number 2, when you graduate, are you going into the regular army or the wax?
I'm still making up my mind, ma'am.
You're still making up your mind? Number 3, do you sing in the show?
No, I do not, ma'am.
I see. Number 1, who wrote this show?
It was written by the cadets, ma'am.
Oh, it's a collaboration.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Number 2, what is the name of the hotel at West Point?
Hotel Thayer, ma'am.
Thank you. Number 3, do girls have to pay their own way?
Peggy. I'm terribly sorry. Time is up. Let's move along now to Martin Gabel.
Number 3, do you know who the Chief of Staff is of the United States Army?
Yes, I do, sir.
Would you care to tell us?
What?
President Kennedy, sir.
Number 2, what year did ex-President Eisenhower go to West Point?
He was a class of 1915, sir.
Number 1, do you play athletics besides dancing, singing, and kicking?
Yes, sir.
What sport do you play, number 1?
Basketball, sir.
Number 3, what is the nickname for a freshman at West Point?
He is a plebe, sir.
Sorry, Martin. Now, Kitty Carlisle.
Number 1, who is the head of West Point?
That is Major General Stilwell, ma'am.
Number 2 is the head of NATO.
Well, it was,
Number 3, do you know?
No, I do not, ma'am.
Number 1, do you know?
No, ma'am.
Number 1, did you shot? You asked if you shot. You asked. Well, wait a minute.
Here.
I'm absolutely confused by this whole thing. Do the boys tease you when you have your costume on?
The regular cadet corps has not seen my costume, ma'am, yet.
Well, do you think they will when they do?
Well, I suppose afterwards they will, yes, ma'am.
Number 2. When you wear your costume, do you feel uncomfortable in it?
not necessarily, no, ma'am.
number 3, when you do this show, who directs it?
It is directed by cadets, ma'am.
Do you know who directs it?
I'm sorry, Kitty. We'll have to pass now. Tom Poston.
Number 3, what are you doing after the show, honey? I think number 2 is really a girl, and they really got us. I will ask number 2, if I may, whether you're familiar with that motion picture that Jimmy Cagney was in about this 100th night. Do you know
No,
that?
sir, I am not.
Did you see that number 1?
No, sir, I did not.
Do you know the number 3?
No, sir.
Oh, I'm surprised. I just saw it recently on the Late Show on television. Has anyone, I'll ask you anyway, number 2, has anyone ever been made a cadet at the academy at West Point for a temporary?
You mean an honorary cadet, sir?
For any reason?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
I'm sorry, that's the end of the time we have. It is now time to vote. Without consultation, panel, please mark your ballots. Select number 1, number 2, or number 3. And of course, our team of challengers will get $250 for each incorrect vote. Are we all marked? Thomas, are you set?
Yes, I am.
Oh, fine. Then, Martin, you're all set.
Okay.
May I have your vote, please, Tom?
Well, I think they made a terrible mistake here. I voted for number 2 because he's wearing a uniform that those cadets wear up there. You could spot him in a minute.
All right. Peggy Cass?
Well, I voted for number 2 because I have a feeling he was so dignified he didn't want to get into those other pants. And the other thing, he also seemed abashed when he didn't know NATO, and the other ones, 2 didn't seem to care that they didn't know.
All right, Martin Gabel, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 2, too, by process of elimination.
Kitty Carlisle, what is your vote?
I voted for number 2 because I don't wish to offend number 1 and number 3, and I hope you won't take it badly, but I think number 2 is the prettiest.
Because he's a boy.
Well, the votes are all in, the minds are made up, and now to pick out the real Cadet Becky, we are extremely fortunate tonight to have with us Becky's sister, Moxie Sue. Here he is, Cadet Sergeant Dick Venice. Dick, will you please pick out your stage sister? Nope. Thank you, Dick. Thank you, Dick, very, very much. Incidentally, we would like to thank the cadet leadership of the 100th night production at the Academy for their cooperation here in our show. We are honored to have had you with us. We all wish you good luck with the show this coming weekend. Now, let's find out, in just a moment, Martin, let's find out about number 1. Number 1, will you tell us who you really are?
My name is Dan Furlong, and I'm a studio page here at CBS.
4 votes for number 2. Number 2, let's find out who you really are.
My name is Bill McCabe, and I'm a page at NBC.
There have been
I hope you're not in trouble back at the floor.
4 incorrect votes, which means a total of $1,000 from Salem, gentlemen. Thank you and good luck, and on your way out, there's a carton of Salems for each one of you. You know, sometimes the best thing that can be said of winter is that spring is sure to follow. May we have our next team of challengers, please?
What is your name, please?
My name is James Brightwell.
My name is James Brightwell.
My name is James Brightwell.
Panel, please listen while I read this affidavit. I, James Brightwell, am a former footman to Queen Elizabeth II of England. I lived in Buckingham Palace as a member of the royal household. I was messenger to the Queen. I also set the table and served meals in the private quarters to both the Queen and Prince Philip. When the family changed castles, I went along and carried the luggage. I escorted the Queen to and from her car, and on formal occasions rode atop the royal carriage. All this training has served me in good stead. Currently, I'm working at the front desk of one of New York's major hotels, signed James Brightwell. Well, panel, here are three gentlemen, each of whom claims to be James Brightwell, former footman to the Queen of England. And let's start this round of questioning with a star of Mary Mary, and a scintillating star he is, Tom Poston.
I know that's me. Thank you, Robert. Number 2, where is Windsor Castle?
In Berkshire, England.
Thank you. Number 3, there's a motion picture studio not far from there. Do you happen to know what it is?
Ealing?
Well, the other way.
When you say the other way, which direction?
The other direction from Windsor Castle. Ealing is on one side, and this one is on the other.
Yeah. Motion pictures? No.
No. You don't know number 2? Do you happen to know?
Pinewood.
Thank you. Number 1, where's Monkey Island?
It's on the Thames.
Sorry, Tom, time's up. Peggy Cash.
Number 2, where is Holyrood Castle?
It's in Scotland.
Thank you. Number 3, which castle has a maze?
Has a maze?
Yes.
A castle that the royal family use, or...?
A castle that they use that has a maze.
No, the castle that has the maze is Hampton Court.
Thank you. Number 1, who lives in Clarence House?
The Queen Mother.
Thank you. Number 2, who's the old lady of Threadneedle Street?
Oh, the Bank of England.
Thank you. Number 3, what
Sorry, Peggy, time is up. Martin Gabel.
Number 3, what castle in Scotland do you escort the royal family to?
Balmoral.
There are statues in the gardens there at Balmoral of a gillie to Queen Victoria. Who was that gillie, do you know?
No, I don't.
When escorting the royal family to their car, does the Queen enter the car first, or does Prince Philip?
The Queen.
And who comes out of the car first?
Prince Philip.
Is it common for footmen to serve wait on table?
Actually, no. The page serves at the table.
Martin, the time is up. Kitty
Oh,
Carlisle.
I'm so pleased to be able to ask all these questions. How many servants are there, personal servants, number 1, in Buckingham Palace?
Something in the region of 75.
Number 2, how many servants do you say there are?
About 60.
Number 3, what is the pay?
What is the pay? £6 a week.
How much?
£6 a week.
£6 a week. Do you agree with that, number 2?
Yes.
Number 1, what is the name of the children's nurse?
The governess is Miss Peebles. The nurse's name, I can't
Number
recall.
2, how long ago were you there?
About 2 years ago.
Where is the swimming pool in relationship to
I'm
the castle?
sorry, we'll never know. It's time to vote, panel. Without consultation, please mark your ballots. Select number 1, number 2, or number 3. A fascinating spot, too, incidentally. Kitty is marked. Martin, I believe, has marked. There goes Peggy, and there goes Tom. Are we all set? Have you marked your ballots? Thank you, Tom. Well, for whom did you vote, Tom?
I'll tell you, it was between 1, 2, and 3. And they know a lot more about it than I do. I voted for number 2 because I liked his manner altogether. Anyway, it made me feel like a king.
Now, Lady Peggy.
Well, I sort of felt that number 3 should have known who that gillie was, but since I didn't, I voted for number 3 because he knew about the maze at Hampton Court. I suppose you all did because you're all English, but then...
Martin Gabel.
I voted for number 3 because he looks like he's put in length of service, which the other 2 gentlemen don't quite, even though he didn't know who.
Kitty, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 2 because I think if you've been to Balmoral, you must know Mr. Brown. Don't you think? I think one should. And also, number 2 said there were in the neighborhood of 60 servants, and I thought 50, so 75 seemed too many, and I think 50 or 60 is probably the right answer.
A good round number to run a little castle. The votes are in, the minds are made up. Now let's see which of these 3 gentlemen is the former footman to the Queen of England. Will the real James Brightwell please stand up? Incidentally, panel, just to set the record straight, James Brightwell works at the Americana Hotel here in New York City. Well, now let's find out. Number one, will you tell us who you really are, please?
My name is Patrick Savage, and I'm overseas sales manager for the Rover Motor Company.
Number three, would you tell us who you really are?
My name is Peter McChesney. I'm Trade Development Manager for the Farrell Steamship Lines.
And you're all excellent. Thank you so much. There have been, of course, 2 incorrect votes, which means a total of $500 from Salem. Thank you and good luck. And on your way out, we have a gift carton of Salem's for each one of you. Now, in the next 60 seconds, we invite you to come with us into the land of springtime. Just watch this beautiful film. You're probably wondering what can come next. Well, let's find out. May we have our third team of challengers, please?
What is your name, please?
My name is Marjorie Wells. My name is Marjorie Wells. My name is Marjorie Wells.
Please listen, panel, while I read this affidavit. I, Marjorie Wells, am a recognized authority on professional boxing. I became interested in the manly art of self-defense at the age of 12. I wrote a biography of former heavyweight champion Joe Louis, which has been translated into 8 languages. I've been a columnist for King Features. I've covered training camps and for a time was boxing reporter for Sports Illustrated magazine. I'm also the author of the section on boxing in the 1963 edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica. Signed, Marjorie Wells. This is a program of paradoxes tonight. Here are 3 charming, beautiful ladies, all claiming to be Marjorie Wells, boxing authority. Let's start this with our own professional heavyweight, Martin Gabel.
Thank you, Robert Q. Number 1, who first knocked out Joe Louis?
I don't know.
Number 3, who first knocked out Joe Louis?
Max Schmeling.
Who last knocked out Joe Louis?
Rocky Marciano.
What was the largest gate of all time?
I would say the second Dempsey Tunney.
What Argentinian fought what American champion for the title?
Do you want that
3?
addressed to number 3, Martin?
Number 3,
Fine.
yes.
I would say Luis Angel Firpo fought Jack Dempsey.
Time is up, Martin. Now, Kitty Carlisle.
Number 1, it says here in the affidavit that you became interested in this manly art of self-defense at the age of 12. Against whom were you defending yourself at 12?
Well, I grew up in Orange, New Jersey, and I lived
there.
Is that enough? No. No offense to Orange. I grew up and I went to school with two-ton Tony Galanto's son.
And you had to defend yourself against him?
Well...
Was that your reason, number 2?
No, my father was in the profession.
Ah, he was a professional boxer?
Yes.
Number 3, do the weight of the gloves change with various fighters?
The heavyweights wear lighter gloves than the lighter.
Number 2, how much does the heavyweight's glove weigh?
8 ounces for an ordinary fight and 6 ounces for a championship fight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kitty. Now, Tom Poston.
Thank you. Number 2, who was Little Arthur?
Little Arthur was Armstrong, Henry Armstrong.
Thank you. Number 3, what was Louis' real name? Do you have...
Joseph Louis Barrow.
Thank you. Number 2, where was he born?
He was born in Minnesota.
Number 1, Archie Moore had a book written. But do you know who wrote that with Archie?
No, I don't know.
I do.
I do, too. But I think we both know him personally. Number 3...
I'm sorry, time's up, Tom. Peggy Cass.
Number 2, who is Joe Jacobson?
I don't know who Joe Jacobson is.
Jacobs, I mean.
Jacobs, that's
yes,
different.
Sorry.
He was a promoter.
Thank you. Number 3, an English fighter named Turpin. What's his first name?
Randy.
Thank you. Number 1, what fight was a long count?
The long count was the Sullivan fight. It was before gloves came in.
Thank you. Number 2, who comes from cut and shoot?
I'm sorry, cut and shoot. I'd like that answered myself. However, time is up. Without consultation, panel, please mark your ballots for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Great deal of thought of. Oh, you're all marked. Are you all set? Tom, are you set?
Yes, I am.
Fine. Well, all right. Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I voted for number 3. Little Arthur, of course, was the immortal Jack Johnson. And Joe was born in Georgia, I believe. Joe Lewis was born in Georgia, Alabama. Georgia, I think.
All right, number 3, Peggy Cass now.
Well, I voted for number 3. My father was the matchmaker of the Boston Garden. Boy, she sure knows her fights.
Martin Gabel.
Well, this one would seem like an open and shut case, which is when you fall on your face. It's perfectly plain that it's number 3.
All right, we'll find out in a moment. Kitty Carlisle, for whom did you vote?
Well, I voted for number 3, and what I know about fighting can be put in your eye. But her answers seem terribly quick and very sure to all of these excellent people who know a great deal about fights.
Well, all right, the votes are all in. That was, of course, those votes were made up without consultation. Now, let's find out which of these ladies is the real boxing authority. Will the real Marjorie Wells please stand up? That is fantastic. That is really, you're very, very good. And we will get to your question, Kitty, in a moment. But right now, let's find out about number 1. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Yes, my name is Bernice Hollenbeck, and I'm from West Orange, New Jersey. I'm a housewife and part-time model.
And you're very pretty.
Thank you.
Number 2, how about you?
My name is Myra Duberstein. I'm the fashion coordinator for Wings Bras, the perfect bra. And I'm a grandmother and have 3 grandchildren.
Miss Wells, may I ask how you became interested in boxing? I know the panel would like to know.
Well, at the age of 12, I saw Joe Lewis as possibly being the Negro who would break the color line in boxing and eventually in all sports.
I see.
I began collecting material on Lewis, and then I found a great many characters in boxing. I like characters. I kept going.
Well, we've enjoyed having you on the show, all of you, as a matter of fact. Golly, 4 incorrect votes, which means 4 correct votes, which means you all just receive a consolation prize of $50 apiece. But thank you so much for being on the program. And on your way out, there's a carton of Salem's for each of you. We'll be back in just... Well, as you've probably noticed, the panel did extremely well this evening, and especially on that last spot. Congratulations to you all. We have just had a call from Cassius Clay. He'd like to take you all on very, very shortly. I think that's about the... I beg pardon, Tom?
Talking or fighting?
Yes.
He could lick us at both.
I think so. Well, before we say goodnight, may I remind you, this is Red Cross Month. When disaster strikes, when servicemen need help, when whole communities require aid, the Red Cross is always there with your help. Please give generously to your Red Cross. Good night, panel.
Good night, Robert.
It's been fun being with you these past 2 weeks. Bud Collier will be back at his old stand next week at this time. And don't forget to join him and the panel. This is Robert Q. Lewis saying good night for Salem Cigarettes. And as Bud always reminds you, don't forget to tell the truth.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Kaufman production. To Tell the Truth has been brought to you by Salem, the cigarette that refreshes your taste. This is Johnny Olson speaking. For To Tell the Truth, this program was pre-recorded.